You know, what I did is I got in a habit at a very early age that whenever I would make a decision, I would pause and reflect, particularly if it was a painful decision or a painful moment. I'd pause and reflect. I have a principle, pain plus reflection equals progress. And then I would write down my reflections. That's why the journal. I would literally use a journal. This journal, by the way, is connected to an app that facilitates that. And that's what I want to pass along. And I think that helped my clarity, because at that moment of stepping back, when there is greater clarity, when there's calmness after the storm maybe, or the excitement of the adventure, whatever it is that you're reflecting on, that reflection, writing it down and thinking about it and thinking, am I clear? I think helps my clarity a lot. Life is life. It comes at you. It is reality. You can't change it, okay? You can influence it based on your reactions, but you have to deal with it, and you have to deal with it in a calm way. So meditation helps you be calm, it helps you see the clarity, and then move beyond that to deal with the circumstances well, I think. The biggest problem of our society now is individuals who are highly opinionated, who will not exchange open-mindedly the different opinions about things, and are in their echo chambers, whether it's on the particular media that they're connected to and so on, who are then having conflicts with each other. This is a threat to our society. They may confuse the fact that they may have good instincts, they have to make their own decisions, they can be independent thinkers that might do controversial things in order to be successful. That all is true, okay? That all is true. But the perspectives gained, the learning, the wisdom that is gained, the open-mindedness, the power of stress testing your ideas. Everybody, to be successful, should be assertive and open-minded at the same time. People ask, well, what does that merely mean? It means you have to believe, you have to understand, and at the same time, you have to doubt and pull out and get the questions so that you stress test it and that you're learning, right?
Yes.
And so there's a great power in getting the other perspectives. You know, a triangulation for me is the key to success, one of the keys to success. Triangulation, I mean, get the three smartest people that you know who will care about you but will disagree with you, will stress test you, and have those conversations. And then, okay, do the back and forth. You want to learn about anything, like I have big initiatives and where I don't know anything. And I have found that if I follow that approach by getting the best experts and I do that, I can go into things with the guidance. So it's so obviously stupid or so obviously beneficial to be able to draw upon the best thinking and then not to just blindly believe.
Of course.
So when I say it, be assertive and open-minded at the same time. Don't just follow, okay? Do the back and forth, hear the disagreements, and then resolve the disagreements. It's an extremely powerful approach. The fear of making bad mistakes or being wrong should be a motivator to take in these different perspectives and then weigh things, okay? I want my children to be educated in a certain way. That's a very particular important ideology. Still means that there are choices that you have. And then the question is, have you made those choices in the best way? And then after you've made those choices, what are you going to do about it? Should you move from one place to another? Should you, what schools do you pick? I mean, you know, those kinds of things. Life is just a matter of those particular choices. And there are win-win relationships and there are lose-lose relationships. And win-win relationships are a lot better than lose-lose relationships. So knowing the approach to that, knowing live and let live. I can make my choices, I can move here, I can do this. Or the mutual respect that you have for, it's okay, you can have your point of view. To be less judgmental is better. I mean, it's better for everybody. Is somebody doing you harm? That's a whole different thing. But all of that, I think, is very, very important. The art of thoughtful disagreement is the basis of a very innovative and also harmonious society. If you want to have an innovative, harmonious society, you have to have the art of thoughtful disagreement. And the mediator is a very important role that you play. If you're having a disagreement, one of you might be wrong. And how do you know? And how do you get past that? And so the classic thing is to agree on somebody who you mutually agree will be a fair judge and a fair mediator. And if you mutually agree on that person, then you bring them, then they can help you along. And the exercise of going above it and saying, okay, here is this disagreement, and how do we deal with disagreement and are each other related to the disagreement? That is a good perspective to have.
Yeah.
And so I think that as we look at all those things, I think that it's so clear that approaches like that and perspectives like that are very, very helpful. Real winner in life is to try to find what the best path is, and the one who comes out of it who has improved their understanding and makes a step forward is the real winner. So losing the debate in many cases can make you a better winner. The educational system means, okay, you take a test, I came up with the right answer, I won, okay? It doesn't take you through the journey of saying, I'm now having experience and I was wrong. And how do I go above that? That's one of the big reasons why people often who are very successful in school are not very successful in life. Bad experience can become a good experience. In other words, if you approach it as a fight, it's going to produce a lot of anxiety. If you approach it as a curiosity and a game almost, that you're playing with each other, okay, to try to get at truth. Okay, then that could be really a wonderful experience.
Yeah, but somehow we feel that admitting a mistake or admitting we were wrong or discovering the truth makes us weak and makes us...
Bad education system, bad, because it just looks at that particular answer and it doesn't look at the sequence of discovering truth. And that's a problem. It's a problem. But I found in people that it's not a problem that they can't get over. I've found that we have this culture in which that's the culture, right? It becomes obvious if you're not doing it.
Yes.
And when you have in an environment like that, then people's behaviors change pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I would say in, I don't know how many months, it'll vary, but maybe 18 months or so on, that they would be curious. What might they be missing? And they understand that it almost is so silly to be a blocker of ideas and to be antagonistic when there's a different point of view. It's really stupid to do that. And when they start to see themselves doing that and asking why are they doing that, that reflection and that then changing behavior then produces changed behavior that produces rewards, better decisions, and better relationships. And when you have better decisions and better relationships, you have a better life. God, give me the serenity to accept that which I can't control, and give me the power to control that which I can, and the wisdom to tell the difference. And I think that really guides it. What is your best? And so it is the combination of acceptance, but also the desire to influence, right? And so, and if you're going to influence, you have to have that equanimity, like a ninja. There are things coming at you, and you can't be hijacked by your emotions, and the smartness of your move will determine the outcomes. And how do you learn that? Because it produces better results and the other one produces bad results, and it's like, do you learn anything? It's the same way you learn, don't put your hand on a hot stove. You're dealing with reality. So to go above it is so important. Here I am in this situation, and what do I do? What resources can I use? Who might I speak with for help? All of that helps you navigate, because you still have to deal with reality. When I started to build my company, it was a point of having 67 people. I remember it because every holiday season, I would, I started my company from nothing. So I had 2 people, 4 people. Well, okay, we got up to 67. I remember it was 67 because it was holiday season. And every holiday I would shop for their individual gifts, and I'd write each individual long notes. And that was then long enough, took me long enough to realize that I really need to communicate better with them. I also journaled because I needed to write down my decision rules for the markets so that I could go back test them. So it's a very great power if you can know what your criteria would be and then say, how would they have worked in the past? How would they have worked in this country or that country? Because then you're not just making decisions, you have perspective on making the decisions. So those 2 things together got me into journaling. I wanted the world, my people I worked with, we went up to 1,500 people. How do you communicate in a really good way? And it wasn't just journaling, but then also I would combine the journaling with videos of cases. My culture was to have meaningful work and meaningful relationships through radical truthfulness and radical transparency. So what we would do is video everything or tape everything for everybody to see, so that way they could see it. And so by taking the principles and putting them together with the situations, it was fabulous exposure. So everybody was always informed, and they were going through like this reality TV type experience. And then they would give answers as they were going through the experience, because that way they would have that experience. But imagine a reality TV experience, but it's your reality around you, and then you're making this input, and then that input would be able to know what people would think. Really, when you're in a situation, what are you going to do in that situation and why? And of course, it starts with your deeper needs, whatever they may be. What do I want out of life? Who do I want to be with? What are the directions, okay? And then it comes down to the particulars. And the particulars can be aspirational. I'm 73 years old. I know that at this particular part of life, I want to pass along the things that are valuable for me. It could be on how do you fire a person? How do you treat that person? It could be, what is your relationship like? And so those are the principles. It's not journaling feelings. And I found that very, very valuable. But I'm in a new phase of my life in which what I'm wanting to do is get the best principles from everyone. I've been passing along my principles and so on, and people find it helpful. What a joy it is, as you must have experienced, when people say, oh my God, you've changed my life. But other people can do it. You're doing it. And I say to so many people who are really very, very successful people who have never written down their principles, that they're going to die with them. And if they instead write them down and make them clear, then they're teaching other people, because there's a life arc, right? We have experiences that, decisions we make that make us successful, okay? Including how to deal with pain. And so if we write those things down, we can help other people. And I think, like, I probably won't be around to speak to my grandchildren in the way that I would like to then, but they will have those principles. And so now my aspiration is to get the best principles from wherever they come from. I started to realize that in a big picture pit, I don't know, maybe it was 25, 30 years ago, I can't say. But then I began to research it and understand it a lot greater. And then I began to feel it. You feel it. Again, when you can connect intellectually what's happening with subliminally and emotionally what's happening to you, you gain perspective. And so this phase, it's not just an intellectual thing. I don't know, maybe nature has programmed us in our minds to have these needs and feelings at certain age. So I know that now, like, the greatest joy that I can have is to help people be successful without me. I mean, I know what my time horizon is. And I know that my greatest joy is not any longer in being successful myself, that was great and it's fine and so on, but I don't need more of that. And my greatest joy is in helping other people.